You know, at first I wasn't going to say anything, but this has to be said since everyone else is talking about the cancellation of Girl Meets World. And I'm going to give you my honest opinion on it. I can't tell you why it was canceled, but I can tell you why I thought it should have been canceled and why I didn't like it. Here's the first thing. Girl Meets World had no diversity. Everybody on Girl Meets World looked the same. They were all white except for one character, Isaiah Babineau, and he was played by Amir Mitchell Towns. Now they're calling him Zay, which is really stupid. Everyone on Girl Meets World is white except for Zay. And that's not a good message to send to little kids. That kind of thing creates racism. Because now when a kid sees another kid who doesn't look exactly like them, they're going to question that. And then questioning that turns into bullying. And then bullying can escalate into a potential hate crime. Kids have to learn that not everyone looks the same. Everyone's not going to look like you. And that's one thing that Girl Meets World and Boy Meets World failed at communicating. I think the character of Angela didn't even come along until what? About the 5th season of Boy Meets World? That's not a good thing. You need more diversity because that reflects the way the world really is. There are all different kinds of people in the world. You have black people, white people, Asian people, Latinos, French, Irish. Well, Irish are white, but you get the point. And I can go on and on. So it needed more diversity to me. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy Boy Meets World very much. I used to watch it every Friday, so don't get it twisted. I like the show. But that's the first thing that I had a problem with. Here's the second problem. Girl Meets World has a very childish element to it. You don't learn any important lessons because they're too busy being childish. I know it's on the Disney Channel, so there's only so much they can do. Let me give you some examples of childishness going overboard on Girl Meets World. There was an episode where Maya wanted Riley to sneak out and go to a party. So then she did it, and I think Maya and Riley happened to be eating tater tots for dinner. And then the tater tots started talking. Really? What the hell is this? You have a talking tater tot? Are you joking? I mean, Boy Meets World had goofiness to it, but at the end of the day, you would always learn something. With this, you never learned anything because it was just silly and over the top. I'll give you another example. There was an episode where Morgan and Morgan appeared in Girl Meets Goodbye. They both played Morgan, Lindsay Ridgway, and Lily Nixie, or Nixay, or however you pronounce it. That's stupid. You should have picked one person to play Morgan. You should have picked the original, because she was the original person that played Morgan. I'm sure Lindsay Ridgway would have understood. That was an element of silliness that really didn't need to be there. And then you have the silly names like Farkle and Smackle. What's a Farkle? What is a Smackle? Nobody names their children that. And if they do, you don't see a lot of them. This is what I'm saying. The show was just too goofy, and it can't be taken seriously like Boy Meets World can. Boy Meets World is the kind of show that would get me emotional. You know, because they taught all kinds of lessons. They taught lessons about crime, lessons about sex, lessons about drinking and driving, lessons about how to handle the situation when someone dies. You know, when they had the episode about Sean's father dying, and Mr. Feeney was excellent, played by William Daniels. And it's actually kind of strange because, ironically, Boy Meets World actually dealt with the topic of racism when they were talking about the book Black Like Me, when Eric, played by Will Friedle, was dating an Asian girl named Linda. I believe she was from Japan. And apparently somebody called her a racist slur. She comes home crying. And it's sad, I admit that. But the thing is, Michael Jacobs failed to introduce characters that come from other backgrounds. And that would have made the show more realistic, because that's the way the world is. The show is called Girl Meets World and Boy Meets World, not Boy Meets White People. I mean, I'm not trying to spark up a racial argument or anything. I'm just telling you why it's not a good message. What do you think that does to little kids that don't exactly look like the people on Boy Meets World and Girl Meets World? That's all I'm saying. Because if I'm thinking it, you know other fans are thinking it. But no racial diversity, and it was very silly and childish. You had the silly names Smackle and Farkle, and you had the Tater Tots that talked, and you had the ghosts that were, that were in the windows and things like that. Kids can't learn from stuff like that. They need to live in the real world and understand that tragedies do happen. That's how they learn, and that's how they grow. And to me, that is why Girl Meets World failed. That's my opinion. You can take it or leave it. It's not meant to start a racial argument or any kind of argument. So what I think Michael Jacobs needs to do is he needs to take a long, hard look at this video. And I hope he gets something out of it. And that's really all I have to say about it. I have nothing against Rowan Blanchard or Sabrina Carpenter or anybody else. They seem like very nice people. But I think Michael Jacobs needs to wake up. So he needs to change the show and base it on reality. That's all I have to say. And whether he agrees or not, I'm the Michael Myers fanatic, and I approve this message.